Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Kayla, and today we're talking about Epic Universe. So the resort just celebrated its 1-year anniversary, actually a few days ago from when I'm recording this. And I had the opportunity to go back a couple of weeks ago. As you may know, last year, Chris, my former co-host, and I went and spent 2 days at Epic Universe prior to it opening to the general public. And then I had the opportunity to go on a trip with my boyfriend, Brian. And really just like the vibes were different. I want to talk about it, really let you know what it's like. Because while I do have, it seems like a dozen Epic Universe episodes, I think that it's good to see what things are like and how different it is a year after opening. My last trip, again, was 2 days. It was prior to the park opening to the general public. There were still kinks being worked out, so on and so forth. We visited most recently in the middle of May, maybe beginning of May. It's been a little bit. We visited for 1 day. We stayed off property, where the last trip we actually stayed at Grand Helios, which is the hotel connected to the park. So very different experiences. We did not have early entry because we were staying off property and just doing a 1-day ticket. Really, Brian had no idea what he was in for other than what he had heard, because he's the one that edits this podcast. So he's listened to me talk about Epic Universe a lot. He was really excited for everything Super Nintendo World. He is a Super Nintendo guy, if you will. So I really just wanted to sort of focus on what's the same, what's different, what I did this time that maybe I didn't do last time, and all of that. I will say crowd levels were lower than I was expecting. The first ride that we did was Yoshi's, what is it called? Yoshi's Adventure. And that said it was a 15-minute wait, and it was roughly a 15-minute wait. From there, we went to Donkey Kong. It said it was a 95-minute wait. This one was fun. It actually ended up being 3 hours. So thankfully, we had eaten before that. We were caffeinated. We used the bathroom early enough that we were okay until we got off the ride. But 3 hours is a long time. And a lot of people were actually leaving the line over that 3 hours, because the ride has a tendency to break down, and it kept breaking down and then coming back up for a second and then going back down. And it was the one ride Brian really wanted to do. Like, it was at the top of his list. So we waited it out. We had gotten to the point where we could see the ride vehicles, and it broke down again. We got into the ride vehicle. They stopped the track because it's one of those that has a continually moving track. And I said, I'm not putting down my bar until you tell me that this is going to go, because I don't want to be like stuck and then they can't get me out. And they said, no, you're good. You can go ahead and pull down. No one loaded behind us. And when we got off, the ride was officially shut down, clearing out the queue. So it worked out nicely for us that people in front of us left the line, so we were able to ride the ride. But keep in mind that if that is a ride that you are feeling very strongly about wanting to do, you could run into the same issues we were running into. So that was sort of the beginning of the day. We did not do Mario Kart because we've done it at Universal Hollywood. I am not a fan. I don't feel good when I get off that ride, so we didn't even bother. We did have lunch, actually, at Blue Dragon, which was not open but for the general admission opening. So that was something that we didn't have an opportunity to experience on the last trip. And it was really good. We had a fantastic server. We did flights. I did a sake flight. Brian did a Japanese whiskey flight. I thought my sake was delicious. We just had a couple snacks. We did some noodles, some wontons, and dessert. And everything was really good. I would get it again. It was really quiet in there. I will say we went for lunchtime because I wanted a break from the heat. And that was a nice reprieve. We actually worked out perfectly timing-wise, where we did all of Super Nintendo World. Then we were able to do Dark Universe, and then it was time for lunch. And then from there, we went over to the Wizarding World. So to give you sort of a better explanation, the layout of the park is that we essentially started on the left and then made our way clockwise, because Blue Dragon is right in the middle of everything. So timing wise, it worked out really nicely. We did Monsters Unchained. We actually did everything in Dark Universe, because we were able to go back. Actually, our second to last ride of the night was Curse of the Werewolf in Dark Universe. But we did Monsters Unchained, wandered around in Dark Universe a little bit, got a beer, got some of the like charcoal cheese bites. They were pretty good. The beer, I will say, was really good the first time that I went. Not as good this time. And I'm not sure why that is. It had a very potent taste to it of like spices. And it was a little like sweet. I don't know. There was just something off about it that I wasn't particularly a fan of. But again, much lower crowd levels, which was really nice, versus the previews where there were a lot of people, which you would think it would be the other way around. But we had lunch. I charged my phone a little bit. My phone was not handling how much content I was trying to get, which was too bad. But after lunch, we went over to the Wizarding World and saw the show, which was cute. It's a good show. It's fun because you're constantly moving. There's things happening. You're not just going in, sitting down, and that's it. Like, there's the pre-show, which is really fun. And then there's things happening as you're even in the queue. So all in all, enjoyed that. We each had a beverage at the bar that's at Wizarding World. And then we went and got in the single rider line for the ride that I never say the name of correctly in Wizarding World. And the posted wait time for the standby line was only like 50 minutes, but I figured the single rider would move faster. I was incorrect. Brian pointed out that there were people he saw pass us in the regular line that had gotten in it the same time we'd gotten in the single rider line. But it actually worked out well for us because we started talking to one of the team members while we were in the single rider line. And I'm just the kind of person, I like to shoot the shit with people, see how their day's going. They are humans. It's crazy, I know. But being a decent human being to other people, usually you can reap the rewards of that. And in this particular situation, we were talking about their like cloaks that they wear. And I was saying it looked really comfortable. The team member was like, it's not. You can feel it here. Like, go ahead. So I felt it. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that actually doesn't feel nice at all. Then the next thing I know, the question was, is it just the two of you? I said yes. And we were taken down a little pathway to get into an elevator, to go get in another elevator, to then literally load the ride instantly. So that was nice. I like when magical moments like that happen. And it was great because Brian and I got to actually experience the ride together versus a single rider line. So from Wizarding World, we headed over to Isle of Berk. That really is my favorite place in the park. There's just something about the vibe that is really, really great there. And we went and saw the show, The Untrainable Dragon. And when I went to this show previously, it was a packed house. When I went to the show a couple of weeks ago, the theater was half full and they weren't even filling the back section, which I thought was really interesting. It is a cute show. I don't think I need to go see it again. It's really cool to see the like animatronics flying and things, but I don't know. Flying Toothless only goes so far. But I did actually get a really cute little Toothless keychain, which I'm really excited about. If you don't know, I have a black cat, and whenever I see Toothless, I think of him. His name is Binks, but if I had planned it better, I probably actually would have named him Toothless. So Isle of Berk was great. We went on all the rides there. Brian really liked those. We didn't do fire drill because I don't like water rides. I'm not going to intentionally get on a ride with water, especially because Universal water rides are not a you might get wet. Universal water rides are a you will get wet. And I didn't want that. But we went and got the PB&J mac and cheese cone, which was, again, fantastic. And then we headed out to do Stardust Racers. That was fun. Again, I like that ride. I can't do it more than once though. Like I was like, we can go on both sides. And then we got off the first side and I was like, maybe not. I don't like going upside down, and that ride only goes upside down once, but it is enough that I don't feel great afterwards. And then we were able to, our very last ride was the carousel. And that was really fun. They were doing a like musical show with water as the park closed, which was really neat to watch from the carousel. But all in all, I mean, it was a good day. It was hot. Like I said, my phone wasn't wanting to stay charged, but I managed to find places to charge it, which was great. And we had a good time. We did everything that we wanted to do. We ate the things we wanted to eat. We drank the things we wanted to drink. And even with the 3 hours waiting for Donkey Kong, we did it all. So that was really nice. There were 2 things that we didn't do, and that was Fire Drill and Mario Kart. So I feel good about that, especially considering the fact that when we had 2 days, when Chris and I had 2 days last year, I felt like we didn't get as much done as I had hoped in that amount of time, where this one single day went really well. And the wait for our ride back to the hotel afterwards wasn't too bad. Also, the hotel that we stayed at had a shuttle specifically to Epic Universe, which I thought was great, because I thought that it was going to be a matter of getting a bus to City Walk and then transferring from there. But I'll get into that more next week with my review of that specific hotel. But just something to keep in mind is, you know, it's been a year. The park is feeling like they know what they're doing. They actually just started having a unique character to the park start coming out and doing meet and greets, which I think is so great. He's so cute. He's a little black bear that he's part of like the constellation theming of the main area of the park. Really cute. I think that the thing to keep in mind is that it is still a new park. There are still things that go down. I mean, as I mentioned with Donkey Kong, that was a bit chaotic. I personally think that ride is a skippable ride. It hurts. It's a very bumpy ride, which is intentional, but I'm personally not a huge fan of it. It wouldn't be my first roller coaster. It would probably be actually the last roller coaster that I would ride in the park, but not because of the 3-hour wait, just because it's an uncomfortable ride for me. So this is a trip that went really well, but also keep in mind it was the beginning, middle of May, and that time frame, there's just not a lot of kids. Everyone's in school still. There really weren't a lot of children in the park. It was mostly young children or older teenagers because, you know, it's the end of the school year. Especially in Florida, school it was like very close to being out. So locals weren't just like coming into the park. But I think that it's really a great park. It deserves a visit. It's a very hot park. It's a long walk to get from one place to the next without shade. But it's fun. I like it. I think that the food is great. I think the beverages are really fun. I think that they've done a great job theming. I'm excited to see what further iterations of these lands look like, because I do know that there's been talk about how they're going to expand beyond what they currently have. And yeah, I think that Epic Universe is worth adding to a trip, whether that is a Disney trip or a Universal trip. Maybe you're going on a Disney cruise and you want something to do the day before or day after the cruise. I think this is a fantastic place that you can really get it all done in a single day if the crowds are okay. Again, keeping in mind that we had a 3-hour wait for one of those rides and we still did all the things that we wanted to do. I will say, obviously set your expectations. Just because I managed to do everything I wanted to do doesn't mean that you and your group will be able to do that. But if you want help with planning your trip to Epic Universe, I think it's safe to say that I know the park pretty well. Even if I'm saying the wrong names of things, I do know what I'm talking about. I'm just not good at names. I'm not good at people's names. I'm not good at movie names. I'm not good at song names. If there's a name, odds are I don't know it. So keep that in mind. But I'd love to help you with your next trip to Epic Universe or wherever else your heart desires. And until next time, let's just go.